Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Erin Sherrill. I am the Director for Career Development at Oglethorpe University. We're going to go through a number of things today, but I do want to take some time to let everybody introduce themselves to you. Just a quick little tidbit about me. And some of my experience, and we're going to be pulling up a PowerPoint here for you all to see. But I have been at Oglethorpe for 4 years, and in my education background, I studied psychology and anthropology. I also studied criminal justice at the graduate level and have a master's in counseling. So I've done a number of things. And you'll find that as you work with career development and you engage with our office and as you engage on campus, that we really value the power and experience of a career transition story and all that you're going to do and how they will contribute to your career in the future. So those are things to kind of keep in mind, and we'll go on and have the rest of the team introduce themselves. Asia, if you want to go next.
So hi everyone, my name is Asia Anderson. I'm the Assistant Director here at Oglethorpe University for Career Development. So I got my degrees at Georgia Southern University. I got my Bachelor's of Science in Public Relations, and then I also got another Bachelor's of Science in Psychology. And then I went back to Georgia Southern again and got a Master's of Education in Counselor Education. So I'm also pursuing my licensure for counseling. And so that's pretty much how I'm here. My concentration within counseling is career. So I really focus on that engagement and that career journey with the student and kind of how that process looks for you.
Hey everyone, I'm Nicole Kang. I'm the Employer Relations and Alumni Relations Manager in the Career Development team. I attended Oglethorpe University for my bachelor's and I graduated in 2013. I studied visual arts. I have worked at places like Alliance Theater and Chastain Arts Center prior to joining Oglethorpe University.
Yes. Hi, everybody. I am a rising senior at Oglethorpe right now. I'm a theater major and a film minor. I have interned at the Alliance, and I am actually looking to continue my education in grad school.
Great. Thank you. Can we move to the next slide? Cool. So just some of the things that we're going to talk about today. And I'll go through our mission with you. We can go ahead and move on to the next one. So our mission is to help students and alumni integrate their liberal arts education into, can we go?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, thank you. Into their professional career identity. And so we focus on doing this by assisting with self-awareness enhancement. We explore career options and encourage internships and career-related experiences in doing some exploration. And we work very closely with students and alumni on their career planning, and we recognize that it's a lifelong process. So it's not like students come into college and know exactly what they're going to do, and that's what they graduate and do. That happens, but it's not always the case. And so every experience a student has while they're in school helps to inform this. And so we work with students to explore and recognize and make plans based on all their experience. Move on. So again, this is our team. There is one person on our team who is not here on the webinar. Her name is Stephanie Sokowski. She's another alum of the university who studied accounting, and she is a volunteer in our office. So you will probably get a chance to meet with her at some point during the fall or spring semester. She does a lot of work with our students who are in the business school and working on resumes. She also does a lot of our career fair preparation work. If you're going to attend one of our virtual fairs in the fall, you'll get to interact with her through that as well. And another person I'll just mention real quickly is Kushbu Patel. She's a rising senior and one of our student workers in the office. She's another point of contact you'll get to interact with during the fall.
So we offer a lot of different services here in career development. one that I'm particularly over is going to be our individual counseling and our career counseling. So that looks like a variety of different ways. It can be you scheduling individual appointments with me, with Erin, with Stephanie, depending on what you want to discuss, whether it's majors or careers, but it could also look like you participating in our drop-in hours once we're back on campus. So depending on what that may look like moving forward, that may be an option. There'll also be options for that as well virtually. So we also offer career assessments in addition to that. And so we also offer career courses that'll be available to you in the fall. We also offer those resume reviews and mock interviews if you're getting ready for jobs and things like that. If you need help finding jobs or internships, we're going to be the place that you're going to want to come to. So if you're ready to create a brand for yourself and start like looking for those types of things and that professional branding, we can also assist you with that. Also be on the lookout for mentorships and alumni connections. And so that's going to look a variety of different ways. Later on in this presentation, you'll kind of see how we do that with some of our virtual panels that we've hosted already. And then in addition to that, we also have a professional clothing closet. And so that's going to be something that's imperative to you. If you need clothes, it's going to be free of charge. It's going to be kind of a one-stop shop for you. If you're looking for anything that we have in there is pretty much going to be up for grabs. And so you just kind of want to schedule an appointment with us to kind of see what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now we have a Kahoot that you guys could participate in. So let's get started. So if you guys have a phone or any other device around that you want to connect to this, kind of get that ready so you can get the Kahoot.
One thing that's going to be a little bit different this fall is that, in the past, we do a lot of face-to-face services. Our career fairs are in, we bring employers to campus, on-campus student jobs and all these different things. And, as we learn more about the fall and what things are going to be looking like, things are adapting and changing. So at this point in time, all of our events, including our fairs, any alumni panels we host, info sessions, resume reviews, all those things are going to be virtual. We utilize Zoom for that. And so we will be able to host drop-in hours via Zoom. So anytime you want to connect with us, whether it be just to say a quick hello and introduce yourself, tell us about your interests, or if you have a pointed question about finding an on-campus job or searching for an internship or even an off-campus job, those are things that we can discuss during our drop-in hours. We'll talk about this a little bit later in the session, but we utilize Handshake here on campus. And Handshake is our online job and internship database. And that's a great place for you to start logging into, get connected with it, because you'll be able to see all of our events posted through Handshake. You can register the events there and ask us questions about events there. Also, you'll be able to see all of our drop-in hours as they're posted. And as incoming students, you are welcome to jump in, especially on our Ask Me Anything days. Those are typically on Fridays from 10 to 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. So if you wanted to pop in, say hello, ask some questions, Asia and I co-host that session on Fridays, so we'll be able to chat with you some more and get to know you a bit. We've already seen a few students, so we look forward to seeing everybody else. How's it going?
Yep, I'm ready now.
Great.
Thanks, Erin, for that.
No worries.
While we're waiting, maybe we could answer one of these questions.
Yeah.
So first question that came in, and you guys may address this, but when does the process truly start with career development? So when can our incoming students, when should they plan to actually start getting involved with your department?
Yeah, what a great question. Now, I would say that the process starts now, and it's something we will talk about a little bit later. You'll probably hear a little bit from Desiree encouraging some of that, and not to put the pressure on, right? But every moment of your college experience is an opportunity to learn and grow. So getting engaged in different things, whether it be student organizations or Greek life or honors, coming in to see our office, starting to explore career opportunities, all of those things are going to be really valuable to planning for and making decisions about your career. So I would definitely think about your career development process as starting right now, or, starting while you're in high school. And, you know, a great thing that you could do to help keep yourself on track is to or keep notes to yourself about things that you are doing in your process. And they may be things that you're doing for your classes, but they may also be things that you do intentionally for this process. And you'll find on our website, we have a resource. It's our career plan by year. And so it's not a guaranteed roadmap to planning for your career, but it is, these are things that you could be doing during these semesters of your college experience to help you get ahead and help you make progress in your career. So these are things we'll talk about as you engage with our office and presentation, but a very good question.
Awesome. That is a very good question. And we're going to kind of talk about that with some of these questions. So let's get started. It looks like everyone who wants to participate is participating. So we're going to get started now. All right. Good answers. So this was meant to be a really tricky question because essentially you can do all these things with a degree in English. But at career development, a lot of times people are trying to figure out what's the best option for them or what major is the best fit for them, or just kind of honestly working their way backwards. A lot of times you may know the career that you're interested in, but you don't necessarily know the degree that you want to go after, or you don't know which degrees you can go after to get to that career. So if you're ready to have those types of conversations or things like that, we're kind of the place to come do that. So with this question, I kind of wanted you to see that even with a degree in English, you can still become a psychotherapist or a counselor or whatever term you're used to hearing, because those people normally have really good listening skills, really good analytical skills, and they can kind of work in that space with people. So that's kind of what I wanted you to see from that question. Let's go to the next question. Let's see, so who got that right? Okay, Mary. Let's see. Question 2.
Oh.
So let's see. Most students said 75%, and you guys were close, but the ones that said 80, you're right. So one, it's totally normal to change your major. A lot of times students, especially coming in as freshmen, right? You feel like, oh my gosh, I kind of got to stick with whatever I chose, or this has to be kind of a one size fit all and I got to make it work regardless of what it is. And I kind of want you guys to know now that it's okay. You can change your major as many times as you need to. Actually, on average, students change their majors up to 3 times within their college career. So one time isn't as bad. You see why the number is so high, because so many people do it. I want you to feel okay. It's okay to change your mind. Now is the time to change your mind if you ever needed to, and we're kind of here to help with that. So if you ever want help on that journey, between me, Erin, Desiree, Nicole, any of us in our office, as well as Stephanie, can kind of help you with that. So let's see who answered that the fastest to recover some points. Oh, no, Mary and Tylena came in second, and Bailey. So yeah, you guys are pretty fast. All right, so here's the last question. Let's see who can maybe get in the top 4 or top 5. All right. So I had to play a trick, obviously. But we are at 84%. So what does that mean? That means out of all the students that did take our graduation test, which is our first destination survey, right? 84% of those students are working, are pursuing a graduate degree of some sort, or they're in their field of some sort of choice. And so what this means for you is that you have an opportunity to really connect with either someone in the OU community now or a recent alum to basically get to those spaces that you want to get to. We already have alum that are employed from that graduating class. So imagine where you could be once you graduate. That number is continuously growing. We're looking at it growing for our 2020 grads. That survey is currently in the works. So we're working through those numbers now. But what this means for you is that you guys have high statistics to being employed, but also not just employed, but also other opportunities. So for those that are seeking continuing education, whether that's continuing to medical school or veterinarian school, whatever your choice is, or nursing school, you have those opportunities, and kind of those connections can be built here with our OU community. Okay? All right. So now let's go back to our presentation. All right. So one way that you can really connect with alum and those recent grads is through events. And so normally we host events in-house, right, on campus. But with these changes, we're going to be showing you some of the things that is it paused right now? Uh-oh.
It looks like we still see the, so we might need to share the new screen.
Let me do it this way. All right, we're here now. Everyone can see the event screen. Awesome. So one way you can connect with alum is through our events. So we have a lot of ways that we bring alum on campus. It can be with social gatherings with like an ice cream social, or it can be through alumni panels that we host typically with different admissions offices for different sectors. So we have it for our School of Business as well as our humanity areas. We also host a public health mixer. And so that's going to be a great way to not only just connect with alum, but employers as well. We also host a accounting reception that you'll kind of hear something about in the fall. And that's normally for our juniors. And Erin may touch on that a little bit more later. But we have a lot of constituents that our professors are allowed to bring on campus. And so they even make a connection for you. And so these connections are out there, whether it's our adulting boot camps where we still have alum teaching you things, whether it's your basic skills with elevator pitches or kind of working your way through the interviewing process, or even how to tie a tie. But our alum really want to get connected with you, and so they're just trying to find several ways to do that. So when you see these events on campus, we would really encourage you to come, because it's going to be a great way to kind of connect with them and really build a relationship with someone who may be in the same industry that you're wanting to go in. All right. So one of those things that I was talking about with some of the changes that we're having with the fall, we will be hosting some virtual events. And so what that may look like is some virtual panels. And so here's a clip from one of the virtual panels we recently hosted. So this was the State of the Workforce panel that we hosted, basically kind of our alums from a few different sectors. The alum you're going to hear from is from a theater background. And so they're going to hear a little bit about what that looks like right now, and kind of how Oglethorpe has basically prepared them for this. So if you're ever wondering about, am I going to feel prepared regardless of what's happening, you kind of can hear this testimony from students that have graduated from even recent grads to kind of older grads, and kind of saying they're all kind of okay with this and they all feel prepared. So let's start that clip.
I think a key thing that they should be mindful of. With the situation especially arts, I think like it's really easy to kind of feel a little hopeless about it because it's one of the things that'll be the last things that comes back to normal, for lack of a better term. Everyone is having to audition virtually via video as opposed to like being actively in the room, and that's a skill set in and of itself, to like really succeed and like sell your personality through a screen, because there are still projects in development. Like people are planning on in some way keeping the theater arts alive, whether that's via streaming programming or play readings via Zoom. Like my work as a writer and composer has been continuing because people are still interested in developing new work and developing work, but it's just like, when is it going to happen and how is it going to happen? But again, like along the same logic of Richard said, creativity and innovation is what's going to make it happen. So luckily as Oglethorpe students, you're real pros at that, and adaptable thinking and malleable thinking. As far as the new normal goes, what this giant pause in the Atlanta theater community has illuminated is a lot of holes in the way the nonprofit arts model works, and that it is not necessarily something that is sustainable going forward. So I think a lot of people and companies are going to be remodeling how they fund their organization and their programming. It's also illuminated lots of holes in diversity and inclusion within the arts community here, and having this time, instead of dedicating it to just like continually generating a revenue stream, companies and artists are having the time to actually address these concerns head on and as a priority, as opposed to kind of like, when we get time, we'll like think about being better about diversity and inclusion, or we'll think about corporate fundraising as opposed to really being dependent on this area. And so all of that time is sort of, I think, allowed people to spend time on restructuring the foundation of the artist community here. And so I think whatever the new normal looks like for this community, it's going to be much more efficient, much more inclusive, and much more exploratory and innovative, as opposed to just returning out the same old kind of material. And I think it hopefully will put Atlanta arts on the map as more of a leader nationally, which I'm excited about. I mean, trying to stay excited about, Yeah.
So, I don't know where my voice went. So that's kind of one of those events that we will be hosting in the fall. And so we still want you to find ways to be connected. And so this is going to be one of those ways to stay connected with alum. So in addition to that, you can still connect with these alums by reaching out to us. And so oftentimes these alum, like I said earlier, are willing and wanting to meet students and work with students and connect with students. And so it's just merely coming to our office, being connected with someone in our office and kind of expressing that interest and kind of working with us through that journey so we can connect you with those people.
All right. Sorry, my mute button was getting a little tricky there. Thanks for sharing that video, Asia. So one of the things we talked about times throughout this so far is that your career development is a lifelong journey. And all throughout that journey, discovery and reflection and taking some time to be intentional in the reflection is going to be helpful for you, because it'll allow you to make some more informed decisions about what the next step in your career is going to look like. So, one of our really forward-thinking students was asking earlier, that journey really starts now. Is everyone able to hear me? I'm informed that my connection is unstable. Can you hear me? Okay, great. So starting now by coming to some career development events, letting us know who you are. One of the really important things to think about is, you're only really aware of the kinds of careers that are out there that you are exposed or that you've intentionally gone out to learn about, right? So there are so many things out there in the world of work, as we've just seen in the last 4 months, is really evolving and changing and is going to continue to change. So there might be new careers being invented. There might be new industries that are completely taking off and others that are quieting down. And so those are things to consider looking into as you start making decisions about your careers. So taking advantage of all the opportunities, talking to as many people as you can. Anytime there's a chance to talk to alumni, absolutely do it, because they love connecting with current Petrels and helping them get ahead. And pay attention to your brand. That's another thing to be thinking about, and we'll do sessions on this as well. But whether you're trying to or not, you are sharing information about your professional brand. So those are things to be thinking about as you're interacting with faculty and staff on campus, with your colleagues, and employers off campus. So, with those things being said, I would love for you to hear from Desiree. She is a rising senior and a super duper rock star. So I'll let her share a little bit about her career journey and share some words of wisdom.
Hello. In my last 3 years at Oglethorpe, you can tell from these pictures, I have been busy. I will try to be as quick as possible, but I intern at the Alliance Theater. It's a nonprofit regional theater right in Midtown. And I also studied abroad at Oxford University. I was studying Shakespearean film and devised theater studies. So my career development pathway started within the second week of my freshman year. I did not come into the office at all for an internship. I honestly wasn't committed to having a conversation of my long-term goals at all. I really just wanted to know if I can get a job on campus, which I was able to do. Erin Sherrill was the first person I met, and basically because I had federal work study, I was able to work in almost any job on campus. And being a freshman, I would just, all I wanted was a job, school, that's it. I wasn't looking at internships that early yet. And so like I said, I had my part-time job at the bookstore, and it went well. That was my freshman year. And it wasn't until my sophomore year that I actually started asking these, lifelong questions to myself. That's because I didn't even know what I wanted to do. Although I love theater, I didn't know if I wanted to pursue acting, if I want to be a techie, if I wanted to teach, or, theater can expand into many realms, and I just didn't know that at the time. So because I didn't know it, I didn't ask the questions. All I knew coming into college is that I did not want to be an actor. So it was a long year of figuring it out on my own. And so in sophomore year, I was finally ready to, dive deep into internships and asking these important questions to myself. And so through collaboration with career development and my department head, Matt Huff, I was able to not only study abroad, but I decided to take a chance at applying at the Alliance Theater for the literary department and the casting department. I did not think I was gonna get the casting at all. I was completely just going for literary, which is, I don't know if many of you guys are aware, but it's basically dramaturgy. Again, if you don't know what that is, I can have that conversation with you after all of this. But yeah, so I was accepted into the casting department, and I didn't really ask for it. I was not expecting it at all. And I can tell you right now, if it wasn't for that decision that was beyond my reach, I would not be so solidified with what I want to do with my life. So like I said, it was a collaboration with my department head, who is also my mentor now. And basically I had these more vulnerable conversations and told him that I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I know I love this path that I've chosen. I just don't know what to do with it. And because we had these like real conversations, I was also able to have Aaron Cheryl actually help me execute these things. So Aaron Cheryl basically told me to go on Handshake. We'll explain what Handshake is later, but basically it is a place where you're going to apply for on-campus jobs, which I did in freshman year, is where you're going to apply for internships, which I did in sophomore year. And it's where you're going to just look for opportunities. I'm probably going to be using it again for another opportunity before grad school. And yeah, I mean, there's more to the story. I definitely use the career development for resume and cover letter help. It was very rough that freshman year, but it definitely got better. It's getting better still. And I'm still going to utilize the department when I get ready for grad school. You know, I have to be ready for these interviews, for these really hard essays. I'm really going to have to, I'm going to need some help. It does not stop freshman year. It does not stop freshman year at all. And it doesn't have to start in freshman year. I mean, after that first meeting that I had with Aaron freshman year, just to get a on-campus job, I don't think I stepped foot besides the fair. Yeah, those fairs are really nice. You should go to those fairs. You'd be surprised. Yeah, and if you feel like you're in the same position as I am, that you're not even sure what you're gonna do with your major, you can always talk to your department heads, try to get a realistic outlook on what can happen with your degree. That's what I did. It worked out just fine. Hold on. Ironically, if you look at the picture in the far right, I am at the Alliance Theater with the Tony Award. And those other two women are alums. The one in the left, her name is Jordan. She graduated in 2018. Yeah, 2018. And to the woman to the right, she's another alum. Her name is Catlin, but it's so like Caitlin. I'm not sure when she graduated, but you see, I didn't even know they were at my internship. I wasn't prepared to even network with other Ogles, but it just happened. And yeah, you just never know who you're gonna meet, even if you think it's just an insignificant hello. It goes a long way. And the connections literally start the moment you step on campus. And it does not end. It doesn't even end after graduation. Like, you'll be surprised. Like, honestly, I didn't know, but an Ogle is working with my dad. I didn't know that until sophomore year. But you just never know. Don't be shy to come in. Just ask questions. I think if I were to give advice to freshmen, is just to always ask questions. I don't care, like, don't be scared. Well, you're gonna be scared, but don't be scared. Just ask and you'll get some help.
Thanks so much, Desiree. And I like just reflecting on what I'm hearing you say, is that you don't know what you don't know, right? And coming into college for the first time, there's just so much unknown. Future is going to hold. You can't know what the career is going to look like, and there's hopes and dreams and aspirations, but there's so much in between that gets you there and that can change who you are and what you want to do as you're working your way there. And so being open to the connections that you can make on campus, putting yourself in situations where you can make those connections, where you can engage in programming and have conversations with faculty and staff and alumni and employers who can help inform those decisions. All of those things are really valuable components to inform your career. And, you know, Desiree didn't mention these things too much, but she also studied abroad at Oxford University. She is sitting on student government for this coming year. And so she has like really gotten herself involved in a lot of different things on campus. So in addition to her internships, you know, she just really dived in to take advantage of a lot of what Oglethorpe has to offer. And, you know, I think that she's been a really awesome example of how you can do so much and make the most of it. Yeah, Desiree.
I just saw a question. What are some of the jobs on campus? Okay, so there's a lot of jobs on campus, especially if you are a federal work study student. What that means is that basically you get some money through your FAFSA that you have to work for. So some jobs that there are is career development. Actually, that's how I got this.
They'll be hiring.
Yes, they're hiring. The Conan Performing Arts Center. Literally any department that I'm aware of. IT, I believe, or not. I'm not sure. Literally, think of any department. You just need to ask your department head. I could be very wrong right now, but I know there are students who did that. I know this. Again, I could be very wrong. Let's say you're into STEM. Talk to your
You're right.
You're right.
Let's say you're in STEM. You just ask your professor. Just say, who do I talk to about this job? Or
also people in Starbucks and the dining hall. There's
I also
office has people. It's all over.
There is also a tutoring option. You can be a tutor. I'm actually a writing tutor. That doesn't fall under work study, but I have two on-campus jobs. One is the career development and the other one is the writing center. So if you need help with your essays, I would be happy to help you. I've had some good reviews. I can give you some references. And yes, their grades went up. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, I'm proud of that one. So yeah, if you were to ever want to tutor, I know that you have to at least finish your first semester. I'm aware of a few second semester freshmen who tutored, yes, and it was actually within the STEM fields. I'm not sure what exactly she is studying.
I can share some more information about tutoring jobs on campus. And Desiree, you've done you brought up some really good points as far as the federal work study and then the non-work study job opportunities on campus. Those both exist. And, you know, something to keep in mind for the fall is many of these jobs are going to be in a virtual space or may look a little bit different this fall. And so more information will be coming, and keeping an eye on Handshake will be a really great thing to do to stay informed about on-campus work. But as far as the tutoring goes, Desiree is right. You must complete your first semester and you must take the class and get a certain grade in order to become a tutor or instructor for those classes. But those are really awesome jobs on campus and don't require federal work study. And you can keep an eye out. Some of you may know, I know what federal work study is. I have that on my FAFSA. And some people may be wondering, I have no idea what that is. What are we talking about? So we'll have more programming as we get closer to the start of school to talk about what federal work study is, and for those that are awarded federal work study, how you can use it on campus. So keep out on the events page and Handshake for that. And Handshake for all jobs to be posted in the coming weeks. So thank you so much, Desiree, for sharing your experience. You know, she is going to be graduating this year and moving on to really incredible things, and we hope school and theater. So definitely keep an eye out. If any of you on this call are interested in theater, I'll just offer up right now on Desiree's behalf that she'd be willing to connect with you and answer some questions. So you just let us know how you want to connect. So, you know, I think listening to Desiree, one of the things to really keep in mind are all of the amazing things that you can take advantage of while you're in college. And though, you know, the world is in a slightly different place right now, that doesn't mean it has to be any different. Student organizations are still functioning, they're still meeting, students are still coming to campus, and we're still going to do a lot of really great stuff together. One thing we haven't really talked about yet is research. Research is a real cool opportunity, especially who are thinking about degrees in medicine or psychology or public health, there are some really great ways for you to engage in research, both on and off campus. So those are things to definitely think about. And, you know, for our athletes that are on the call, your experience in athletics is also really, really valuable. And so that we can talk about all of your engagement, both on and off campus, in your resume and in your materials, so we can work together a brand that makes sense for you and is attractive to employers. So engaging in that conversation early is great. We can move on to the next slide. So Handshake is our job and internship database. If you want to take a quick picture or screenshot this page right here, as we're coming closer to the semester, you should be gaining access to Handshake if you don't have it already. You will log in to Handshake with the normal Oglethorpe username and password. So however you're logging in to Oasis or Moodle, that's the same username and password you use for Handshake. And in there, you can find listings. We can go to the next slide, I think. Well, yes, let's go to this one. So here you can see, yes, the slides, I'm sorry, this is kind of like the dashboard called Career Center within Handshake. And so you can see the appointments tab. You click on this if you want to schedule an appointment with Asia or Stephanie or myself. The resources tab has links to articles and other external sites that can help you get ahead in your career searching and exploration. We have a really long article with lots of resources related to job searches during a pandemic, and different ways to set yourself apart with jobs and internships. Also, the experiences tab is where we manage all of our internship information, and then surveys. Occasionally, we'll send out some surveys to get some information from you to help inform what we do and how we work. You'll also find, not pictured here, access to all the jobs and internships that are listed in Handshake. And if we went back to the numbers page, you would see that just based on numbers from yesterday, we have just about 6,000 employers who are posting jobs and internships on Handshake. And right now there are over 2,000 open positions, and over 500 of those, it's almost 550 open internships right now in Handshake. And many of those are virtual. So far, we have 44% of our current students who have completed their profiles in Handshake. And I'll tell you, Handshake is a very smart system. So as you give information in your profile and you complete it, add your picture, add your experience, add your interests, Handshake will then look for different jobs and internships that will align with your interests. So it's in your best interest to complete your profile on Handshake early and update it often so that it can work well for you. Additionally, sometimes we'll get really cool jobs from employers, and we'll want to send it to a list of students who are in certain subject areas or mark certain areas as interest. And if you've updated your profile, you'll get included in those conversations. And if you haven't, then we might miss you. So definitely take some time to complete your profile as you and getting closer to campus. Let's see. Definitely one of the things to do is to follow us on Instagram and connect with us on LinkedIn. I'm venturing to guess a lot of students have an Instagram account. On Instagram, you can go ahead and start following us right now. And what you'll find there are Career Tip Tuesdays, where we share different information about how to get ahead in your career development, how to make the most of your time here, how to impress employers, things like that. The tip today was actually a link to the full-length video that you saw earlier. And I know the sound was a little quiet on that. So if you wanted to take some time to watch that video and hear from 5 different that would be a great hour of your time. So you can connect to that through the Oglethorpe Careers Instagram page. You'll also see a bunch of success stories. So success stories of current students doing internships, but also alumni and different things that the alumni are doing. Definitely a great resource to follow. We will provide updates on events and different things there. So don't miss out, and definitely follow us on Instagram. LinkedIn, you may not have a LinkedIn yet, and that's okay. Student campus, we're going to start nudging you in that direction. LinkedIn is really the place where professionals connect and network and communicate with each other, especially now that we're largely in a virtual sort of environment. So I definitely recommend consider creating your LinkedIn profile earlier rather than later. And what you'll find that we're posting on LinkedIn are stories about how to get ahead in careers, job search resources, alumni features, and different things like that. LinkedIn is also a really great place to see what our alumni are doing. And so you could also follow the Oglethorpe University LinkedIn page. And if you click through there, you'll see that there are over 11,000 alumni connected to us through that LinkedIn. So a really great resource, and we will have a number of presentations to help you create your profile on LinkedIn and use it strategically. Unlike other social media where you connect with or follow anyone your heart desires, LinkedIn's a little bit different, and there's some real strategy there. So as you're thinking about creating your LinkedIn profile, definitely connect with us and we can share some information about best practices on using that resource. This is our contact information, our email addresses. We are located on the second floor of the Turner Lynch Campus Center in A-Lab Suite 239. So you can find us in these spaces. Definitely feel free to send an email. Also through that appointments tab and Handshake, you can schedule appointments, or by looking at the events tab and Handshake, you can come visit us during our drop-in hours. That's definitely the preferred way to go, to come see us during our drop-in hours, because we are there and available. And appointments can sometimes take a little bit of time, advanced planning to schedule. So definitely come see us during drop-in hours when you're available. And I think that about wraps up all that we have to share. I'm interested to know if there are some additional questions that you may have we can answer, or even things you're really excited about coming to Oglethorpe.
Yeah, we have a question in the chat, and you know, you can only answer this briefly. You won't be able to go into too much detail, but they're curious about describing the process of getting an internship in regards to what we as students have to do. So if students want to have an internship, what kind of things should they have in mind for how they might go about that in the future?
Asia, do you want to take this one, or you want me to take it?
Sure. So we have an internship application process that our students normally go through. Initially, the first step of the process is kind of getting through finding that internship. So we also have like a internship search process as well, where we kind of walk you through how to navigate through Handshake again, but specifically looking for internships. Also knowing that you can schedule appointments with us as well to kind of get yourself through that internship search journey. Once you're through that journey, then that's kind of when we start the internship application process. And so that's going to be a bridge or a connection, not just between career development, but it's going to be a connection between your faculty supervisors. It's going to be a connection between our hub department, as well as your program chair, and a lot of moving parts. And so with that, it kind of takes a lot of steps. And so that's kind of why we're telling you to start sooner than later, to do it often and early, to kind of be proactive about that process, because it's not like, it's not really like a popcorn process. I know we wish it was, but it's not as microwavable as we want it to be, right? And so you kind of got to do some legwork to kind of get there. But once you're in that process, it's pretty much smooth sailing after that. So yeah.
I love that example. And yeah, and one of the things that students are thinking about as they're going through their internship search and interviewing and selection process is whether or not they want to pursue academic credit for their internship experiences. So students can get credit or they could choose not to get credit. It's really up to the student to decide, though there are a handful of employers out there that will strongly push toward getting credit. Usually it's the student's decision. So it does, like Asia said, take some advanced planning. We do host internship orientations to help keep students informed on how to get credit for that process. Some quick things to keep in mind: in order to pursue credit, you must be at least standing, so have completed 32 credits, and you must have at least a 2.0 GPA at the time of application. So if you're thinking internship is in the future, you want to make sure that you're keeping your GPA up so that you can apply for credit in the future. Any other questions?
The last question that we have right now says, how often does this program contact freshmen, especially since they don't necessarily have a solid major? So are there things that, you know, people who still are undecided or don't really know their path as first-year students can still do?
Yeah. So, well, your campus advisor is going to be a really great resource because they are super connected across campus and they're in tune with all the things that are happening. So if you're looking for certain kinds of events, they can help direct you in the right areas. Some of the things that career development hosts, especially in the fall semester, are alumni panels, and they're typically focused on certain subject areas. And we really encourage students, whether you know what you think you know what you want to do, or you're like set on something, or you have no idea, or are willing to learn what other people are doing, attend those alumni panels. They are going to be a virtual events in the fall, and so they will be recorded as well. So if you can't make it live, we'll record it so that you can see. But those would be great ways to hear from alumni. And usually the alumni who attend our panels are willing to have conversations with students later. So they are people that you may be able to connect with either via email or on LinkedIn to have some additional conversations about things that they are doing. So definitely keep those in mind and attend those. Anytime there are alumni involved in an event is a great opportunity to do some career exploration, because even if you watch the State of the Work, you're going to find that our alumni aren't doing things exactly in what their major is. Major doesn't equal career. So something to just kind of keep in the back of your head. Nicole's a great example also, studio art major, and she's working here in career development, though she does have great ties with our creative community in Atlanta, but a little bit different. A little bit different of a path than one might expect coming in as a first year.
All right, last question. Should I still consult career development if I just want a small part-time job like a barista or fast food worker? Should they still come to career development if they're looking for a job like that?
Yeah.
Sure. So I would say yes. Not only does Handshake host or house jobs and internships, like full-time jobs and internships, but it also houses like part-time jobs as well. So any company, oftentimes, any company or small business owner or OU alum that owns a company that's looking for workers can post in Handshake. So Handshake's going to be a great resource for any of those types of jobs. And we can also assist you with kind of finding those jobs as well. Like I said, Handshake is that resource though, because it can help you kind of sift through what you're looking for specifically. And so you can do a lot of that navigation. But we can also work with you in kind of getting you through that process of getting to that job. And so helping you with that resume, the cover letter, those interview skills that you need to kind of get through those next steps to actually land that job.
Perfect. Well, it is about our time and we are out of questions, so we will wrap up. We really appreciate you guys hosting for us. We appreciate everybody watching. You can go ahead and get started on watching videos, checking out resources online. You can do that now, and we'll make some of that available in the Moodle course. If you still have questions about next year, career development, things like that, let us know. You can definitely contact your admission counselor if you have general questions, or you can reach out to these awesome ladies as well. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. And thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you soon.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Desiree.